Cody Rhodes and CM Punk's issues with AEW are not the same. Number one, Cody was an EV. CM Punk was not. CM Punk got hired so that he could bring in eyes to the product. Cody was hired because he helped start the company and he was decided to be an EVP of the company. Two, Cody is more political and democratic than CM Punk is, while CM Punk is a maverick. Look, Cody is a team player, so much so that he was willing to give his spot away to The Rock just because, that's what a team player does. At the end of the day, Cody is a team player, so whatever reason why he left AEW was in his own way. While CM Punk literally got into 2 fights and was requesting to get released. 3, the interview with Ariel Helwani. People are mad at Cody because he didn't shit on AEW like how CM Punk did. The thing is, I love CM Punk. I didn't watch CM Punk during his super peak. I watched CM Punk from 2008 to 2010 when he was Straight Edge Society and he was fighting with Jeff Hardy. So he's still good CM Punk, but I didn't get to see best in the world pipe bomb CM Punk, championship reign CM Punk. I actually got back to watching WWE in 2014 when he left. So I've lived my life not knowing that super influenced CM Punk, also looking back and knowing the influence he had, but I didn't live through it, so it doesn't have this super deep emotional connection with me. Even Cody Rhodes as well. I knew Cody Rhodes from Legacy. He was the guy from Legacy. When I came back, he was Stardust. He was late Cody, early Stardust. So, for me, I don't have these deep connection to these guys for them to be, well, I do, but I don't have this connection where it's I hold them in this bigger right. I could be critical. Number one, I love CM Punk. We all do. But CM Punk is a complainer. CM Punk is a hypocritical complainer. Let's not act like he isn't. CM Punk won Money in the Bank twice, was ECW champion, was given so many opportunities to succeed, and he did succeed. But CM Punk will make you believe that he never achieved anything in wrestling. The fact that he complains to this day, well, not to this day, but he complained, oh man, I didn't main event WrestleMania, but Dwayne is in and he's a part-timer. Listen, man, you are now that person to where you're brought in to main event because you have the views. And I think it was just CM Punk was young at the time, younger in his wrestling journey, and was just overthinking it. He was at that stage where his ego was there. You'll hear a lot of people tell him that. Even Randy will say hey man, listen, we didn't have any beef with you. You just had an ego and thought we had beef with you. Nobody had beef with you. Cena, Randy, all of the top guys back in the day, even Triple H to an extent, if you hear stories, none of them had an issue with CM Punk until CM Punk started growing an ego. Then everybody started having an issue with him because it's well, it's not like you're not doing shit. You've been champion for 400 days. You've had Paul Heyman on your shoulder. Even in 2013, this is the funniest shit. Look at how CM Punk will make you think that his 2013 wasn't shit. The man started off the year feuding with The Rock. He got out of a feud with The Rock. He feuded with The Undertaker. And after feuding with The Undertaker, he did one last match with John Cena. And after that, he did feuds with Brock Lesnar and Ryback. Yeah, he did some with Kurt Angle. But still, you can't make it seem like through all of those feuds, you did not accumulate. You did not set yourself up. If you could be retired for 7 years from your professional wrestling job, you made your bread, you made your money. So this notion that CM Punk was, when he left wrestling in 2014, he left with nothing, they took everything from him, is just straight up not even true. It's factually not true. Even as a fan who was there back in 2014, I could see, from doing my simple research, and mind you, at the time, I was probably 12, 13, I'm over here wait a minute. This company did not do you that wrong. So for me, I wouldn't say I had a resentment for CM Punk. I had a resentment for the aftermath of his podcast and his effect of making it seem like every wrestler, not wrestlers, workers' rights shouldn't be involved, but having this ego. Even wrestlers at all levels having this ego that they should be treated. They are the prize. It's not that you're not the prize, but the ego of it was hurtful to the business. You had fans booing things that because their guy could have been CM Punk, but now you're giving us a guy like Roman. We want Daniel Bryan, but you want to give us Roman. Here's the thing, you can have both. There's nothing wrong with having both. And in a good world, if people did the right thing, both would have came. But we booed, man. We booed and we booed and we booed for 7 years until COVID stopped us from booing and we realized, damn, we were on some bullshit. We didn't need to be assholes to this product that we like. You know? That's the thing that I have issues with CM Punk sometimes is that he's like, I love wrestling, but then he'll shit on something like AEW so hard in an interview when he really doesn't need to, and he makes mention before he goes into it that, damn, I really shouldn't say all of this, I shouldn't do this, right? But what is the difference from his interview with and then an interview that he did with Colt Cabana about how he basically talks about all the unprofessionalities of the company, the people inside of the company, the boss themselves, and says, you know, maybe if this, and this was so, da da da. And then he walks away and pretends as if he's the victim in this and says something like, you know, I had a drug abused father. My father did drugs. That's why I'm straight edge. And, you know, sometimes I'm rough around the edges. Yeah, no shit. So is a lot of people in life, CM Punk. And I like him. I appreciate him. And he's one of my favorite wrestlers. And his influence is undeniable. But that's one thing I don't like. CM Punk is hypocritical and is a complainer. Those are two things that he does. He's a he makes it seem like he's a victim of all of these hard crimes. But when you really look at it, you're like, no, you're not. You didn't get it. You weren't buried at all. Nigga, in the beginning of the year, you got feuds with literally the hottest people in the company. So what are you talking? Why are you making it seem like you were out here by the beginning of the year you were fighting Curtis Axel? No, you weren't. You was in the Royal Rumble. You were gonna get a match with Triple H that year. But guess what? You fucked around, was like, nah, I don't want to do that. And guess what? Your spot got taken by Daniel Bryan, who then finished his story. So we appreciate you for what you did for helping that movement really get up. But look, that could have been you in a sense. Imagine. And now CM Punk is sitting here sidelined with injuries, fucked around because he wasted his prime and his years that he could have made a whole bunch of money fucking around, just sitting, trying to do UFC at 38 years old, you know? All this shit to try to prove that, you know, he was above it in wrestling. But the reality is he wasn't. And he realized that, damn, sitting on my couch, being in the UFC, none of that equated to being a WWE champion, fighting Undertaker at WrestleMania, fighting Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, fighting Randy Orton at WrestleMania. If you hear his record, it's not even like in 2011 when he was complaining. He got Randy fucking Orton in a match, a premiere match by himself, and he was the main villain of it. What's the difference between that and AJ Styles versus LA Knight right now? As in, this is the feud that sets you up, that pushes you to the future, that gives you that pathway that you really want from someone. You know? But guess what? In the way, Cody is almost the same way. Cody cries a lot. Cody cries a lot. The time for crying about your dad is over, Cody. I don't want to hear that shit. You've won the championship. I want to hear, you know, the American Nightmare, Dusty Rhodes. He was a great man, and he wanted me to hold this time. No, it is your time. I do not want to see you crying. I don't want to see you looking unsure of yourself, Cody. I want to see New Japan, ROH, TNA, Cody. I want to see almost AEW Cody, where it's like, you are confident, overconfident. Fuck that. We have got out of that point where you need to be so easygoing with fans to say, no, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to scare any of the fans off. The fans were booing me in AEW. It's new here in WWE. Your trial period has expired, motherfucker. And I'm not saying that as a fan who's a hate. I'm saying this as a person who literally loved Cody Rhodes. I love his story. I love every aspect. I love his character. And I do love his character. I think he's one of the best developed characters on the roster because he has real world experience, independence experience that people have seen documented, can go back to, look back on, and say, dang, this is when he was just doing nothing. You know, he made his name for himself. He has earned my respect always. But his time for crying is motherfucking over. You know, and Cody was the same. Cody was a rebel. Cody ran off too. When shit wasn't going his way. It's true. You know what I'm saying? And when he was in AEW, we don't know the reasons why he left, right? But on screen, what I do know is that people were booing him, and he wanted to be cheered. It didn't work out, so he dropped the belt to Sammy Guevara, and he went home. He went to WWE. So an AEW fan, right? How does that even look? You don't have any context, any reason. So it's all very, very two-sided of a coin, You cannot compare them apple to oranges. And I know I went very much hard into CM Punk more than I did Cody, but that isn't to dismiss certain things Cody's done. Cody smashed the throne. Cody has to come back and eat a lot of crow and shit. You know what I'm saying? Cody has said things about WWE and everything because Cody was upset. He was mad that the company couldn't just let him mourn his father like he really wanted to and make stories and get this stupid ass Stardust character. It wasn't stupid, but the iteration by the time we had got to Dusty's passing, it wasn't great, right? Instead of revitalizing, they didn't. So he left. He quit. Don't make it seem like he got fired. He quit. He went online. He said, I'm giving you my resignation. Quit the company. Went on and did his own thing. And that's another thing. Respectfully, in the pipe bomb, Cody says this. All the things that you talked about in the pipe bomb, I actually went and I did them. So where you talked for years and then sat on your ass for 7, I actually did it. And I'm not saying that as a knock to CM Punk, because CM Punk did things that other people wouldn't even try. Acting, MMA, right? Podcasting. He even was on sports shows. He knows why he came back in. Overall, I will say this. Cody not giving Ariel Helwani questions and not talking about AEW is going to be different from CM Punk because their motives and reasonings for leaving and their context of even being brought in were totally different. So you can't expect Cody to be like, man, AEW is some shit, man. Let me tell you how Tony's a bad, I said Cody. Let me tell you how Tony Khan is a bad boss. That's not Cody. I don't think Cody has that relationship with Tony Khan, or he has that vitriol for him to explain that on camera. Now, is that CM Punk? Yes. We've seen CM Punk do that. We saw it with the Colt Cabana pipe bomb interview. We saw it. We've watched it. We know what this man can do. But the same with Cody. So it all comes down to where you see it, how you look at it, and which side you're on. I'm not on either side. I believe that we should be unified as a wrestling world. I believe that Tony Khan and Paul Levesque need to sit down. Tony Khan and Nick Khan and Paul Levesque need to all sit down and say, hey, you know what? You have a whole bunch of talent that knows other talent in my company. Some are even married and have connections. We have talent. Let's talk to our wrestlers and see if there was an idea pitched to them about how they can make the most money out of the other brand's show. How could they do that? And all the bosses have to do is who's going to, how do we split this? How are the gains shared? And then we can go on from there, man. I want a unified wrestling world, man. Look, pro wrestling is back, presumably, right? We're all saying that. Wrestling as a whole is on a high. No matter what you say, AEW and its potential influence and the players that they have now are better than they were back in 2019. Though it's fresh and new, you can't tell me that if back in 2019, if someone told you the roster of right now in 2024, that they wouldn't have passed out. It's just utilization. Same with New Japan and all of that. So with those times, we'll be able to utilize and grow as a better professional wrestling company. Be able to put on matches that connect everybody and make everybody a pro wrestling fan, man. You know, I don't know why we do this to where we'll like something, but then we'll shit on it as wrestling fans. I think it's like this weird self-deprecation guys have because they know the product isn't really real. So they can shit on it and be like, it's not really real. So it doesn't really have a I wouldn't say real, but yeah, no. I'm gonna say it as it is because you need to hear some of these harsher words so that you know how people are thinking. It's scripted. It's not real. It's fake. So I can determine it. If I say something, if I make my vote, if I'm vocal, I can make a change and a difference in this. But I've realized to just enjoy the ride. And honestly, sometimes I want our ride to be more than one ride that we ride up and down and up and down. I want to get on different parks, but I don't want to. I don't want to travel from Kings Dominion to Six Flags to Hershey Park. I'd rather have all the parks in one big ass park. You feel me? That's what I'm trying to do, man. That's what we have to look at as wrestling fans, man. We've got pro wrestling back. We've made wrestling cool again. Now we need to unify pro wrestling. If we have a unified wrestling world, man, I'm telling you, guys, we're gonna get some stories. Imagine Seth Rollins versus Will Ospreay. Imagine Jack Perry versus Chad Gable. I don't know. Let's throw it out there. Imagine Sami Zayn versus, I don't know, anybody in New Japan. Anybody, literally anybody. Anybody. He could fight Great Muta out of retirement and I'll still fucking watch it. Oh, man. Think about those matches, man. Imagine Vikingo versus Rey Mysterio. Just imagine. Just imagine. Like, these matches can happen, but why does someone have to quit, leave, or get fired and have these big, like imagine the match. We wanted a Seth Rollins CM Punk feud for so long, but the amount of bridges burnt on the other side of the company, in which wrestlers still are friends with these guys today. Kevin Owens is still friends with the Young Bucks, and he's still friends with Adam Cole. Most people are still friends with these guys from the NXT that left. Aleister Black. How do these guys feel when you see CM Punk like, man, this is a shit show? It's like, yeah, man, at the end of the day, though, this is still where I'm working and trying to make my grind. So if you pushing people to turn people away from the product that I'm trying to bring them to, are you really helping by saying what you're saying? And saying like, oh, I got friends there, but I don't want them to get in trouble. Shit, you motherfucking tanking their business right now, little nigga. What the fuck are you talking about? As you guys could tell, that CM Punk interview, I did find a little bit of hypocriticism on it. You know, CM Punk is one of those people where he just shoots from the hip. He shoots from the hip. You know, when CM Punk gets into a mode, he gets very survivalistic and like survival minded, and he just thinks about himself. But when you need to slow down and actually realize, hey man, you have a lot of people, a lot of stroke, and a lot of influence here. And how people see you in the wrestling world. You are not just some bum. You are on the same level as the Cenas, the Rocks, the Randy Ortons, you know, all of that. You are on that level. You are an icon now. You know, even though you're out the ring, even though you're injured, your presence enough brings money, brings views. And you need to understand that. You can't just be CM Punk of, oh, I'm CM Punk. I'm just talk. No, motherfucker, you need to have some decorum in your life, motherfucker. You need to have some straightening up. Look at Cody. Yeah, Cody politics talks his everything, right? That's his whole shtick. He's like Mitt Romney, Kennedy, and Trump all mixed into one, right? If you even watch his old interviews, you hear him talk like Trump. Well, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are here in the Bullet Club, and I want to show you. And it's like, you are definitely just doing a hard Trump impression. But that's Cody. CM Punk needs to use a little bit more decorum, man. This is halfway. This is really more of a why CM Punk interview with Ariel Helwani is problematic for the general wrestling world. And I know people are gonna say like, oh, you're hating on Punk, AEW, da da da. I'm not disputing any of that, right? I'm not even disputing anybody's claims. Tony Khan said that he felt threatened and violent. If I was a boss and niggas got into a fight right in front of me, pushing monitors, and a guy runs up to me, yells to me, "That's why I quit," and is lunging at me. I'm going to feel scared. No matter if you think, oh, I should be Vince McMahon level. No, let's be real, man. Anybody else in a situation like that would be rattled. I'm not saying I fear for my life, but if you watch the footage, I can definitely see, as anybody else, that was totally inappropriate, and it means to justify a firing. CM Punk started the altercation. He laid hands on him first. He also, when retaliated, he was the one who put in a move to restrain and to kick it up. He didn't push him back and then keep his space, walk away. He got him in a guillotine. Nigga was finna choke him out if nobody pulled him off of him. Is that what people do? And you getting your monitor knocked over. You have a show, the biggest show of your life coming up. People is fucking around fighting in front of you. Yeah, nigga, I'd be scared too, per se. But I do think that Tony should have done the right thing and tried to, mitigate this when the time, when there was good time. Shout out to Hook for Hook was not even around. I don't know, as a black guy, I kind of felt like, damn, Hook, you gotta ride for your soldier, man. You just was here, bro. You gotta at least push niggas off and be like, yo, man, this is not the way. But that nigga Hook literally stayed and watched the whole fucking fight happen. It did not even move. He just was like, damn, bro, that's crazy. Samoa Joe broke up the fight. Joe is a real nigga, because at least Joe jumped in that bitch and was like, nah, man, let's not fight. That's gangster. He was willing to die, per se. You know what I'm saying? Something could have happened, and Joe was like, fuck it, I'm gonna be in. But the Hook just stood up to the side like, nah, man, that ain't me. Long story short. And you even fucking see Aleister Black in the background of the fucking video. Or Malachi Black. So that's what even makes it more funny. Like, damn, man. Punk snitched on everybody. Motherfucker was over here trying to be like, I shouldn't say this, but says the whole story. Explains to it in detail. And if you hadn't done that, the footage hadn't been released. So, as much as we're saying it like, oh, Tony Khan did do bad. Yes, he did, 100% unequivocally. By the way, CM Punk himself is also in WWE. He's working a program with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre at the time. And if those AEW conversations came up, he should have learned from Cody Rhodes and Triple H and other people when AEW situations like that come up. No matter how personal they are, use a little bit of decorum and political stroke and be smart enough to say, you know what? Let's just say that we had a disagreement. Things may have not been on the same page, but I wish all of them the best in their business endeavor. We just couldn't make money. Something like that would have been the easiest way to go about it. But to give this long, sprawled out story on why and how that they did you wrong and you're being attacked by political black leaders or something. Like, the way CM Punk goes on about his stories sometimes is like, you would believe. Like, I don't know, man. He does sometimes just go on. I was a victim. I got left in Chicago on a train, and I had to find my own train. What kind of company does that? What kind of company does that? He said the same thing about WWE when WWE didn't pay his medical bills. It sounds like to me, CM Punk is a Karen. That's what it is. This motherfucker, CM Punk, is a Karen. He's the wrestling version of a Karen. He will have everything, but still complain as if it's the one thing that isn't going to give him anything. But I love CM Punk. Mind you, yes, I love this man. I know you guys are going to be like, this nigga is a straight up hate. I'm not. And you have to be critical of people you like and love because it's the truth. That's what I observe, right? I observe that CM Punk, and you know what? He's in a place of healing. He's with WWE right now. And that's a place where a lot of those demons he needs to exercise. People like Randy Orton, John Cena, all of it. These are people he needs to mend and grow and build those working relationships. You can't say, oh, this company can't do business. But when you were back in WWE, people like Seth have a very good point. You was talking shit. Like, oh, fuck WWE for almost 7 years. I was there. Fans were okay with saying, WWE fans were okay with saying, fuck WWE. Just because you made it cool. That was the thing to do. So now you're here. Now you're here when shit is hot, huh? When things is good, you here. You here. 2021. You was trying to get back. We saw you. We saw you back in 2019. 2020 pandemic time. You was looking a little bit like, okay, money's starting to get paid. These guys starting to get insurance and shit. I saw you. So this is the truth. I'm not hating on CM Punk. I don't wish anything bad. I wish CM Punk was healthy so he could have faced Seth Rollins in the main event because he earned it, right? I believe that CM Punk is a draw, and I believe that CM Punk can still put on good matches. He just needs to kind of change up his style for certain things and prepare more. He can't rush into it thinking that I'm young, I'm a wrestler. He needs to be like The Rock. He needs to go to a training camp for this. He needs to schedule out how he wants to do his matches. He needs to work with these guys beforehand. Give him that Logan Paul treatment, man. You see it? There's no way Logan Paul is calling his matches in the ring. Logan Paul, probably 4 weeks ahead of his matches, is working them out with people in the performance center. Probably a week beforehand, he's working it out with his opponents, right? Because that's what you have to do in wrestling. That's what any professional does. The day before the match, they work on the match together. So, you got it. My goodness, you guys cannot see this, but it is literally like teal. It's like dark gray outside. Like it looks like it is going to. It looks like it's gonna rain. So, yeah. Long story short, though, man. CM Punk, I love you, man. Please, next time these situations come up, right, for the better health of the wrestling world and progressing wrestling as a whole in general, please use decorum, use the smart political answer, and don't just fly off the wheel. Because another thing is, you're also in WWE. Why are you still talking about AEW? And why are you getting this flustered about a situation that you can't change and you got fired over? At the end of the day, you quit, but you also got fired. We watched you on live television. That nigga said, you're not here on this company no more, bruh. We're not having you here. I saw Tony say that. The video's still up. Man. Wrestling, man. If you're a wrestling fan, you understand this stuff it's not real, man. It's fantasy. So it's not too crazy to want better things from a fantasy, But you see how dark it's got outside for y'all now? Like, it is really getting, like, we're even taking clothes off the line. It is looking, I was supposed to go to classes today, but I'm gonna have to stay in, man, because this rain looks bad. Anyhow, you guys, check it out. Follow me.